Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Diversity
and Equity.
in Education. I'm the Diva D from Cardon Divas, and
April Kyle from April's Beauty Bar, and we are being hosted by the fantabulous Bianca Gooseby with Teaching for the Culture, where it's all facts supported by receipts
and data and not fiction.
Come through. And these two
run it through. Run it.
And I would like to say that these two disgruntled teachers will continue to be the voice of all the nonsense that continue to happen in the education arena here in the Tampa Bay area. You ain't gotta like it, you ain't gotta love it, but your dad still gonna hear about it.
You sure will.
We've lost your volume, Denise.
Oh, really? Hold up. I'm at my loudest volume. Can you all hear me?
I can't hear it well. You sure it hasn't connected to your speaker? You hear me?
I'm in there. Bianca, can you hear me? Let's make sure, because my audio is on. Not my audio is on.
I hear you, but something happened. So maybe it's me. I'm going to pop out and see why.
And pop back in? Okay. But Bianca, I need to know if you can hear me.
I'm not going to have this type of day. Please hold.
Just tell me if you can hear me, Bianca, and also studio audience or home audience and everybody audience. Could you all hear me as well? I need to know because I'm going to mute my laptop. I just want to verify that I can. Can you hear me now?
I'm back. I hear you. It must have been my phone then. No problem.
Okay. All right. Cool. So exactly. Let's go back to that point that you made. We may come across as disgruntled teachers, but let me tell you something. I hate to be one of those like I told you so kind of people, but let me tell you something. Every time it just seems like we just told you so.
Because we're not telling lies. We're not just making it up for self-gratification. We're not jumping on board because it's a hot topic. We're not jumping on board because it seems as though it's a discussion to be had because now it's important. No, it's been important.
It's been important
for a long time.
Let me tell you, let's start with this one. See, this is why I like about how we are, April and I are, because we look at the same topic, but we look at it from different perspectives. So we were just having a conversation about parental involvement, okay? And we're looking at the fact that, well, we're seeing all over the internet now, your governor has relaxed all the places that people can go to and go visit and stuff like that. And more we're seeing huge fights and brawls and people carrying out. I'm like, what y'all fighting about? We got a pandemic going on. But when you look at who is fighting, we're realizing for us especially that these are the parents of the children that we are instructing. And we want these children to also get the best that they can. Remember, they're going to be out of school very soon. We're in the 8th or 9th week. And okay, who's looking after them? Who's watching out for them? When you got parents out there actually having full-blown street fights. That's recorded.
And in one incident at International Mall, the children were walking with them just before a fight.
Yes.
So they become just desensitized by all that drama because it's normal for them.
Right. So
but
now
we're just bashing. That's what we're doing. It's a bashing.
Right. Okay. And remember, those are the children that you hope to return to school and expect them to follow rules and procedures. When this is what they see on a regular basis, on their phones, in person.
Because children learn through experiences. Isn't that what we do as educators? We teach them and they learn based on what we're teaching them and through experiences. So if they're experiencing that on a day-to-day basis and see it constantly in their communities, and what do you expect them to not bring it to school?
Right.
That's fine. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. And it makes sense for our perspective when you see that kids, the only way they know how to handle conflict is through fighting and arguing. So they've not been the front lobe has not been developed enough to say, you know what, I don't always have to fight all the time. I can actually have a conversation. I can discuss, which is the reason why last summer when we went to the social emotional growth and learning classes, it was such a good thing for our students so they could understand, hey, let's calm down, let's think rationally, let's focus. All that practice is completely good. Everything that we worked, I don't know about you, April, on your side, but everything that we tried to work on during the school year with our, our talking pieces and going through and having discussion time, circle time. I know ain't not one person did a circle time the whole time they've been home.
No.
So
only ones I can speak for is the girls that's in Blueprint for Girls. We did a couple,
in the
but
group. Exactly.
Yes, but other than that, no.
So understand. So here's the set of children that we're focused on, our target group, that are not receiving any kind of mentoring right now, any kind of calm conflict resolution, and all they're doing is being hyped up by all the fighting stuff going on in the neighborhood. So, and you really think that children are ready for school? You have to ask yourself this. Let's go back to this. Are parents ready for school? That's the question. That's the question. Are the parents ready? Okay. And I want you to think about that question, because think about this. They're going to be out of school. They've been out of school now 9 weeks. They're going to be out of school all summer. And
fifth grade, especially the fifth grade student body that has been omitted.
Go ahead and talk about that for a second.
So I have asked several board members, and even inquiry to my principal and inquiry to other educators that work in elementary, to make an inquiry to find out how was it determined. Well, I don't care about the how. The how I don't care. My thing becomes, how are the students that are going, the fifth grade student body, that if they don't fall in the criterion with their ESE IEP plans in order to receive direct summer instruction, what happens to those kids that have been already out now? They would have been out, if we go back to school tentatively like they have scheduled for August, they would have been out right at 5 months from school. 5. Now, some of them received some instruction, pandemic learning, e-learning, but there was a high population of them that did not. Those parents in many cases chose to do the paper packet, which came back very incomplete. Probably like less than 2% of the packets were done with fidelity and with quality work return. So, and I can only speak for my site and speak for friend girls that's in our circle and friend guys that's in our circle that work in the school district. So the question becomes, why were they omitted, and how are we going to support them? Because we just can't say, oh, fifth grade student body, if you don't follow this particular criterion, you will be given access to continue on your Clever with iReady and all these other different platforms. But if for those students that did not demonstrate success with those platforms now, how are we expecting them to do that in the summer independently? That doesn't even make any sense. So I want to know, what are we doing to support those kids? Because for me, as a 6th grade math teacher, a high percentage of my students come from our feeder schools, come with very low foundational skills, period. My question sometimes become, how did you make it to 5th grade not knowing basic multiplication, so the basics of subtraction, the basics of division, the basics of addition? How did you make it here? And I don't mean 1 or 2 in a class, I mean classrooms full of that situation. And then you're going to say to me that, oh, if they didn't have an IEP or fell into that criterion, whatever it may be, that they were going to continue receiving direct instructions with a teacher support, that's a problem. That means you're setting up a high number of students to continue their academic learning gap that already pre-exists before today. So that is truly, for me, a big problem. And the question then becomes, parents. Well, parents should be doing this. Parents should, damn it, they not doing it. I can't worry about them parents. I just can't. I don't need to worry about that. I need to know what can we do, the district, the educational institution, that according to the I lost train of thought. According to the what do you call them, guys? Everybody have the right to do this and the right for this, the right for free education, the right for, I lost train of
Oh,
thought.
I
What
know
do they
what you're
call
saying, but
you?
I cannot
Yeah,
even
but the
come to
long
the
story short, why is the
yeah.
fifth grade student body being declined that opportunity? I just don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. So the school
Mm-hmm.
board members that I asked, no response. You know what we say,
Right.
we have selective outrage. Well, we also have selective responses. I guess
Correct.
that is neither here nor there. But I do think that it is a disservice to those students. And then again, remember in the past, I always experienced an abundance of fourth graders that skip fourth and come to sixth.
I was just going
You
to
mean
say
to
that.
tell me if that process is still happening, you're not going to offer supports to them as well?
Right. And
Nah,
that
that
was
ain't
my
that.
concern.
My child could not be a fifth grader this year demonstrating any type of not currently on level. Let me say that if they're not currently a
Mm-hmm.
level 3 or higher, and you don't have anything to extend to them to continue, knowing that the academic gap is already widened by this pandemic teaching learning stuff, that it just wouldn't settle well with me. It just wouldn't. And
Right.
as an
And
educator, I'm speaking voice to the ones that I know parents are not going to say anything about it and really don't understand the plan at all.
right. And this is the thing. It's like it, all the fact that it's not the elementary and middle school is not calibrated correctly. So you don't even have the
No,
same,
you're not.
like we need to have, and I don't want to say workshops because I'm so sick of workshops because like why you
Oh,
don't have where the fifth grade teachers spend quality time either shadowing or being able to receive the same curriculum material that the sixth grade teachers have, so they know they need to know what to prepare their sixth grade students for. So they're like, look, this is what needs to happen. But the fact that you don't see I experienced the same thing. Whereas they're coming out of elementary school, they're coming into sixth grade, and it's like, okay, you mean tell me you're writing this way, but this is how we're supposed to write. By the time you get to sixth and seventh grade, this is how you should be writing. But it's like you have to go way back and start from the very beginning because none of those steps were built up from elementary, leading into middle school. You know what I mean? It's already a traumatic experience enough for them to go from elementary maybe one class all day long with one teacher, for them to now go to 7 separate classes, and they got to go move around campus, and so we're not making that a simple transition. But this is where I say that. Now, here's where my point is. This is where the parent also too has to step up, because understand, if people really believe in their heart and soul, we're going back to school the way we went back to school August of 2019. I got a bridge I can sell you in New York City, because you believe anything. It don't, no. Okay, it's not going to happen that way, because just there's so
no.
many of the specifics that have
And
to be worked out.
let's talk about why parents or people in general may consider that, things are fluidly going to open up as projected by the plan. Because
Okay.
if we take a moment and just look at the many leaders that are on videos without face masks, that are in
Right.
close proximity with people that we know for a fact is not their family, you're basically saying to those people, it's not important. It's not a true level of urgency. So we're
Right.
sending mixed messages to the people, but then we want to blame the people for not truly taking it serious. Well, really the blame is equal at that point,
Right. Right.
because they don't understand. And back to your point of the alignment, articulation used to be important. It used to be important that from going from elementary to middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Articulation seems to have fallen on the wayside, probably like about, I would say between 2 to 3 years ago would be transition over to Jennings. And because articulation used to be a very big grand thing where the kids would be loaded up on the bus, brought over to the school, get to visit the classrooms, eat
Right.
lunch. They got to experience it. And then also that was an opportunity for students that demonstrated that they were already RTI'd, and identifying supports that they may need coming in, because with the RTI process, every year it's a clean slate. They go back to
Right.
tier 1, all kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for children that have already demonstrated they at 3, need help in 3, then leave 3, probably need a tier 4, it just leads back to their starting over. So that's an
Right.
opportunity for, educators and the guidance counselors and admin to begin automatically to identify before that child gets there, what supports we can offer in order to keep them in tier 1. But again, articulation just seems to have fallen on the wayside. I don't know why, or maybe it's something higher up beyond my pay scale that I don't know. It just did.
And that leads me to this question at this point. Being that there was no FSA, there were no standardized tests, there were no anything to show that the kids actually moved or did not move. I mean, a lot of them are going to repeat. In my mind, I'm thinking, how are you going to like separate it out? Because a lot of them are going to repeat those classes. Like, for example, my reading class, the only people who need reading is the ones who did not make a level 3 on the FSA. Well, guess what? This year they don't take an FSA. So now,
okay, hold on.
everybody who anticipated leaving or getting out of reading by passing the FSA, they're going to be sitting back in a reading class again next year. Now, what's the tool that we would use to have them move out? Because now reading is going to be thick, okay? Because everybody basically going to have to repeat it because there's no real test to show that, hey, guess what? They would have scored a 3 and they would have gotten out of reading and they would have gotten an elective back. So, you know, I'm looking at how they're going to deal with that situation right there. You know, that's first and foremost. And then the second thing, of course, now is like for us, what could you use? What could you possibly use as they're coming in next year to say, okay, well, here, let's give them a pre-test. And maybe we can pull some of them out of reading or something like that. So
they could use the FAIR test. They could use midterm exams. They could use formative. There's a lot of data that we collect here in the district that really, in my opinion, I never understood why we use a standardized test. But that's neither here nor there. But we have data that we could use. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have access to that when they take their elementary midterm and their final exam. Middle school teachers can't see it. It's just. Right. It disappears. Right. But listen at this. Look how God be showing out. Look at this. We ain't even got to look for a parent that this happened to. Portia says, as a parent who just did my child's IEP review for 5th grade, I was told there's nothing available for my child, and I have sent various emails to our district offices and ESE offices on how my child will be supported leading into middle school, and I'm currently waiting on a response. See, that's what ticks me off right there. See, that's what angers me to a place of stop with the selective responses.
Right.
Because it's happening to a lot of educators, and then when we respond, oh, we're a problem. It's happening greatly to parents that don't even know where to begin to ask. And then they're just pushed to the wayside.
Right.
This happening to
right. And the thing
and then Diane Williamson, one more ditty. Diane Williamson says, oh no, the district will not tell you anything. You must research for yourself. Even when you find what supports are needed, sometimes you have to fight for them. Why are we fighting for services that's
right.
I'm gonna put myself on mute for a minute.
Could it be that they don't want to admit that we don't have enough resources? We can't possibly get to your thing because
they got enough money.
Right. Didn't we see a chart that said for one psychologist to 1,000 students or something like that? So I'm just saying maybe people don't want to respond because hey, we know we can't get to your case. We know we ain't gonna be able to deal with it. We know that. Figure it out on your own. Deal with
human rights. That's what it's called. The human rights.
Basic human rights. Yes. Basic human rights.
Yes.
So I mean, so let's
that's some craziness right there. That got me real heated. Real heated. And how dare the ESE department not respond?
Right. Right. But let's go into what changes could possibly happen if we just since this year we realized we don't need a standardized test. We don't need an exam. We don't need an exit. We don't need it. So let's look at the reshaping of education, what we should have. Since it's clear that one of the big standout things for us, our kids, is critical thinking skills, perhaps that needs to come back to school. And perhaps we need to just completely, and here's a radical thought. How about we eliminate sports until everybody get back on reading level? Just eliminate. Let me slide out the camera real quick because people ain't ready. Legs. I'm gonna slide back in.
You better stop, because they probably got an APBI on you for that fire that happened over there, Blake. We be talking about stuff that they think y'all done did it.
They done told me.
You better stop, for they have the people knocking on your door, and you can't even look in the cameras quick enough.
Let me tell you something. Legs. Why are they blaming me for all that?
It's a beautiful thing to be a child of God. It's a beautiful thing. You ain't got to look for nothing. Just come on through.
Listen, let me just break it down like this. I'm gonna go back to my statement on critical thinking. Okay. Perhaps the reason why a lot of the kids are not processing well with all of the other things, math, science, reading. I was telling you about those kids in China, how they doing. It's because we have removed the thought process. What about taking the sports side? I know y'all can't stand me, but I'm gonna keep on saying it. Okay, that's a privilege. That should not be something that I deserve to play. No, you can play it in your neighborhood, but in school, dead all that. You need to bring back things like, let me tell you what connects the mind to math, music, art. Okay, remember home economics? Remember wood shop? Remember, or you can even bring a barbering class. Remember a barbering class in there, let the kids turn up at entrepreneurial classes. Teach the kids to be their own barber. Teach the kids to code. Teach the kids. How about that? As opposed to everything got to be sports. Well, I mean, shoot, the parents already coughing up all the money to put you out in the field on the weekend. So what does it matter in school? Why is it that important for school? You on the weekend, you're gonna spend your whole life on the field. Why is it more important than
academics is my question. In a lot of cases, academics become more important than the academics. And that's because they're the adults that's responsible for that process. Some of them don't distinguish the difference between the two for the children. And then, I mean, at that point, is it the kid's fault? Is my question. You know, I know a lot about what people.
Right. Last year and the year before, I don't know if it happened to you, but I received all those letters at the beginning of the year, sign all those people, how they doing in their classes in August. I get that letter in August. You know, I don't get that letter ever again for the rest of the year. So basically what because I wouldn't talk if y'all didn't prove me right every single time. So I get in the letter in the beginning of the year from the coaches. Oh, hey, I need to see what their grade is. Well, the grade obviously is going to be a passing grade right now. It's August. But I don't see that same paper come back again in the quarter in October, in December. I don't see it in January. I don't see you inquiring in March. And I certainly don't see you inquiring in May. So that means that the sport was more important than the child's academics. Please don't get mad at me. This is what I experienced. So perhaps we should try to bring stuff into the curriculum that actually is going to strengthen them mentally so that they can improve their grade, and then maybe they can get the privilege of actually playing a sport. Because it's a privilege. Listen, if you talk about, and I love how they defend it by saying, well, it's all about one thing is sports teaches kids is
discipline,
getting along, discipline. I could teach you that in school, discipline. I could teach you how to get along in class. I can also teach you about team building in class. You don't have to do it in sports. I can do team building in a reading program. Please don't tell me that nonsense. Please don't. Okay, so anyway, before I lose my mind, you're right. Let me put myself on mute because sometimes I just gotta hold it back in because I take it too far. Anyway,
so we have comments for
what a comment
for Diana Williamson again. She says, I have asked for resources and have been told that it don't exist. 3 hours later, after several phone calls, I was called and told, yes, we can accommodate. Legs, just give me the whole bird. Fly the bird across the
put the bird all across the screen. Throw the bird on the screen. Throw them on the screen.
So for those parents that aren't as diligent and as because then it's viewed as being aggressive. You know that, right? When you constantly be vigilant about knowing my child need what they need, and I know it should be offered. Then you come aggressive in trying to get information for your child.
Mm-hmm. I don't call it aggressive. I call it assertive. You're being assertive about your child.
I say what we think. We talk about how it's perceived on the other end of the phone. You know, that parent was very aggressive. They weren't assertive. They were aggressive. But all they want is what's best for their child. And Portia Rose says, how were they going to accommodate it? Great question, Portia.
Yeah.
You always could get the link and chime in. Y'all be talking about hairdos. Come on in. Maybe somebody will selectively respond then when they hear it from, as if an educator, is experiencing that. Imagine what the parents are experiencing. Maybe because that issue is not happening, at certain sites, to where certain school board members don't have to deal with it. I don't know.
Right.
Bianca Goober said, we have enough papers and athletic superstars. We have a shortage of doctors, nurses, and scientists that could help us fight COVID with our genetic makeup. Yes. Because keep in mind, this pandemic is going to continue being at the forefront of medical research in years to come, because it still blows my mind that in children, COVID-19 displays a totally different set of medical traits. And that, and I'm not saying it for hearsay, this came from an African-American, epidemiologist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, she spoke to that on Rep Hart's show on Saturday, that, even though it's COVID-19, basically it breaks down the children's bodies differently. So it attacks the lungs differently. It attacks other things that may be detrimentally ill to the child, but it is because of the COVID-19. So I was like, whoa, that's something that's not even being, readily spoken about, a lot. You might hear, if someone don't ask the question, it's not talked about. So, well, I haven't heard it talked about a lot. So that's been interesting. And I'm highly concerned with it because, and y'all know, one of the twins, pulmonary is just an issue for him, pneumonia several times. And, for him at such a young age, that shouldn't have happened twice. Pneumonia? No, it should not.
And so that's another thing too that parents just need to be cognizant about, because it's like, wait a minute, if you're not paying attention to the news, you need to start, because every other day you're seeing something that's a little bit different than the day before. So just pay attention. And now when it comes to affecting children, that's just detrimental. When you say children are displaying a series of symptoms that are just unusual, and ever seen it, they think they call it the Kawasaki disease or something like that. It shows a similarity to that particular type of disease. You just gotta research that. So speaking of children, let me ask this question that was asked over the weekend. Are the kids okay? That's the question I'm asking. Are the kids okay? Because a child just got shot in the wee hours of the morning at Curtis Hickson Park. And I call him a child because 18 ain't no adult. And in today's society, you're an adult when you hit 40, honestly. And for men, probably 45. But I'm just saying, but society is what produces as oh gosh, who said it the other day? Lena Williams, when she was talking, shooters. When you have children identified as shooters at an early age, well, how they got to that point?
No shooters.
Where was the breakdown in your life to where as an early teen or a preteen or a 14-year-old, you are a known shooter. You have access to that many guns.
See, but that's the problem that I have with that verbiage, period. Just because a person have a gun don't mean they're a known shooter. If they've never been in a crime where there was a discharge of the gun, the bullet went somewhere, did something, that's not a known shooter. You're known to carry a firearm, but you're not a known shooter. And the next thing goes back to that title is primarily placed upon African-American boys. Let's be completely honest. Let's be honest. Don't talk the crazy, because mine carried a firearm involved in illegal activity, but he's never shot it. No bullet was discharged.
And
he will be classified as a known shooter.
And you know what, you're right, because think about how many gun owners are out there. And okay, just because I go down to the range, am I a known shooter? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I'm a legal gun owner.
So to me, you're placing a death warrant on top of a person's head when a police is given a indicator that you're a known shooter because you've been known to have a gun. Right. No, that's not a known shooter in my opinion.
Right. But so here it goes back to this though. If the kids were truly all right, would they even be classified like that? So there's a breakdown now from birth to early teen to where you've now gotten a title like that over your life. And we talk about leadership. We got to be focused on what really matters, because what's good for you right now at 55, 65, 75 years of age, you done lived your life. You done made it. Okay, what about me right here?
And then at that 55, 65, please don't begin to voice, your opinion, because that's all it is. If you have not been in the fight prior to, come in where you fit in, support the
Right.
individuals that have been in the fight for some time, and then be able to help the overall initiative, where you're going with all of this. Because coming in just because you are identified by somebody as a community leader, but you have been dormant for decades, you haven't been saying anything for decades, and now because it's a hot topic and you don't agree with what the direction that is going in, now you just want to start talking about it. Where you been? Where you been all this time? What you been doing?
Chilling.
Have you been? Can you even connect to the people that we're talking about?
Hanging out.
Where you been in the community? Have you spoke with any of them?
No.
Are you fearful to get out of your car in the neighborhoods where they're at?
Cause we down.
Are you concerned that there are no street shooters?
You ain't seen the hood since the hood been the hood.
Sick of it. Sick of it. Sick of it. Because the individual that walked in that church and killed all them people, was he a known? He was a known shooter, and they walked him out.
Right. And asked him if they wanted a burger or something. He was hungry. Just asked him.
Known shooters.
Right. So I just need y'all to understand. Okay, so this leads us right into. Listen, we had a conversation earlier about the lack of male role models, males in the school system. I need some stats in a minute. I need like an article. I need something to show, because we just don't talk for talking sake, because we have data and facts and numbers and things like that. And for last recollection, I understand it was in the entire nation that there's only two, and I want you to put them 2 fingers in the air. In Espanol, dos. In French, deux. Listen, 2% of all teachers in the United States of America are Black male. 2%. And I want y'all to think back of who taught you. Now, I want to say I am blessed because I grew up on an island and every one of my teachers was Black. So I don't know what it feels like to not have a Black teacher. But I'm saying the article, there's the article right there. Only 2%, like milk, of teachers are Black men, yet research confirms that they matter. So everybody that complaining about what's happening with the children, what's going on, I don't see anybody running up in the classroom to go help out. But they are.
And I'm just trying to figure out where the Black men been all this time. They help identify the disproportionate number of African-American boys that's being suspended in this. This has been a pandemic for years.
Right. Yes. But you don't see nobody speaking
where
out.
They at?
Right. Because
and for the ones that were there, did they talk about it?
Because as a Black female, I can do so much. What else can I do? You need to see somebody that look like you to put the legs up. Thank you.
Stop the games. Stop playing the games. Stop playing the games. Stop playing the game. Stop playing the game. Because you know what you know, and then you choose not to know. And you choose it, and choosing not to know is based off your actions when you don't say nothing and you don't do nothing. Right. When your actions don't say that is not in alignment with what you say you believe in.
Correct.
Then you
and y'all want leadership so bad, but what happens when leadership start to leave the district? Y'all ain't have Black males leaving the district?
That's what he did. He ran across that like that.
He ran all the way. Like you ever said a story of a three little pig, wee, all the way home.
All the way home.
But matter of fact, let's look up. Is there any Black males want to jump on and have a conversation with us right now? We're going to have to recruit some because you're not going to find them that easy in the educational field that actually want to stay there more than 10 years. That's still there. Because most of them,
And then
So
look, and it's not, and again, it goes back to this. We say, and again, we also say with the parents, but we also can say about those in the community. You don't have to be a parent to be a parent. You don't have to be. We're all parents. We're all
yes,
responsible for these children in the community. We're all responsible for them. It doesn't, we know nowadays you can't say nothing to them and parents act all crazy. That's fine. But in the end, we're responsible to the organizations that are designed and legally responsible for providing an equitable education to all children. And
yes.
it's just not happening. It's just not happening. And are we, should the voices be as loud as all those avatars we creating on every page?
Oh,
let me go get a drink. We can't repost that these kids, not as, how the children read and then the math fluency. But all these avatars.
What your avatar look like? Some of y'all avatar don't even look like y'all. I'm gonna wait for my compadre to come back because I just can't even. I'm just getting angry. I'm just gonna let it go though. Come on back. What part you in the screen? When you in the screen? Come on back. So listen, why are you over there getting hot? Because I know there's some people sitting there getting hot under the collar. You know, provide some solutions then. Provide solutions. That's what we're looking for. Provide a solution. Add to the collective of solutions. Don't get mad. Don't get frustrated. Say to yourself, what can I do? The number one thing you could do is just show up and help. I mean, you got all these, and here's what I'm gonna say. Also, too, for those in the school system and admins and all that stuff like that, stop putting up such hard firewalls and blocks. You see people trying to come through and help. Why it gotta be a certain set of people gotta help, or this sorority gotta help, or this particular, or my friend who know this one? Come on. If you got 15 grandmas that say, listen, I'm coming to the schoolhouse to read. Screen the grandma fast and let's get her in the room and let her help out reading with the kids. Come on. You got people who want to have groups. Listen, right now, since we know we didn't have to have testing, this is the time to start building up many clubs and many associations and stuff to help build up these children experiences, get them through trauma, help them with their reading, help them guide them, to give them something. Have little groups, little meeting groups online. Oh, hey, let's all sit down. Okay, truth. But I'm just saying, and then people still sitting here can't understand the frustration we have. Go, you know what? Go inside your house, grab that child, and ask that child to read you a paragraph off of a book. Don't. If you don't believe me, ask your child to read something to you. When I showed a parent an actual message that their child sent me, as yes, I want you to read it out loud, and you tell me what your child said, because hell, I can't figure it out. That's when the shock comes. It's like you're only having conversation with your children to know what they don't know.
Nobody can say they don't know no more. That's what you can't do. This right here revealed it all. This was the 2020 year of the revelation. It's there. No one can say they don't know about the digital divide anymore. No one could say they don't know that, because we've been screaming it for years now, that there's a high number of children that are not demonstrating academic gains. No one can say that the literacy rate is a problem for a high population of children that live in socioeconomically challenged communities. No one can say that anymore. No one can actually say that anymore unless they have some type of disconnect with what's going on in the world. There's no way you can say that. Grandma and them, do your job and stop out there just living, and your grandchildren. Hell, I'm catching a time with mine, and don't even get me going.
I want old school grandmas to come back. I mean, I don't need y'all to be wearing spandex and tank tops anymore. Please bring the old school grandma back, please. The one with the wig and the peppermints. Remember that one? That one. Bring that one back, please, because I can't take it no more. Because you ain't got no more wisdom in the house. Everybody want to twerk. I ain't got time for all that. That's first of all. And second, as a public service announcement, listen, parents, you know them laptops need to come back. And by the way, if you signed up a laptop and it's registered to an address and the child is not at the address, I suggest you get that laptop back to the address quickly. Because don't come back and tell me, oh, the child they staying with such or such, but they got the district laptop. That's a public service announcement. You know, at our school, we collecting them next week. So I would suggest you find and get a, hey, that stimulus check come, guess what? Might want to spend that stimulus check in case that laptop come up missing. They $300 at Walmart right now. Public service announcement.
Look, people get furniture from the rental center, going to get the high-price computer. Don't let your child fall into that problem again.
True.
Just don't.
True. Because you know,
I'm just
right. But a laptop is going to be considered an essential thing now. Forget $200 shoes. Forget iPhones. Because notice how iPhone, as much as the child got an iPhone, they still can't do no work on it. Okay, so understand this is the time when we're looking for supplies. Add that to the supply list. That's really going to be an essential tool. So two things you got to think about that's essential for kids is going to be a laptop and a printer.
Because what Chromebooks run you about what? You could get a Chromebook for like $2.
Yeah, $2 and change.
You could get a Chromebook for what? Under $300?
Yes, exactly. And listen, the printers at Walmart, with the last printer I bought was $19 at Walmart, and that was my classroom printer. I got one at home and one at the classroom.
The printers are very inexpensive.
They're real cheap.
Look, what I will say, the inexpensive printers, you have to treat them very delicately. You can't go over there and slam them and bam them around.
Right.
And you better not drop it because it's over.
Right.
It's
but
over.
They
but they're good printers. HP always have the under $30 computer, especially at Best Buy. We're so delayed.
I have a Canon that's $19 I paid for, and then the one I have in the house was like $65, and that was back in the day. So that printer probably a good 6-7 years old, and it runs beautifully. So I'm just telling you that, you know, these are the essential things you need to have. But don't think that kids need, you know. Oh, and by the way, a jacket. Let's you know what we should do? We'll make a special show that we'll call it the supply list show.
An essential list. The true essentials.
Yes,
the true essentials.
Because a blanket ain't gonna cut it. Remember, if you ain't trying to bring no blanket to a school, especially with germs and especially with the way we're looking at right now, you're dragging a blanket all across the floor and you're gonna wrap your body up in it. Ew. Okay, so yeah, jackets. We'll talk about all that in a second. But anyway, just another public service announcement. Just to let you know, those of you that did not know about it or are not aware about it, Tampa Electric has a levelized billing program. And I want to throw that out there real quick just to share with you. You're going to go to the website. It's tampaelectric.com/budget for home. And that is going to allow them to take all of your bills. And I tried it out too. I had them on. I filled out the full form and everything. And that allows them to take all of your bills for the year and average it out. And that's going to be your monthly payment going forward. It's going to help you a lot with budgeting, your bills, all the stuff like that. And so especially if your electric bill is relatively low, it really will be a great help for your budget. You know exactly what your TICO bill is going to be every month. So that's a great help. Okay. Especially in the summer months when sometimes it gets usually high, you know, it'll balance itself out. So just wanted to throw that out there. Okay.
And you also can, call them directly at 813-223-0800 and they'll actually do it over the phone for you as well and give you some insight on, you know, exactly how that overall program works, because you have to be careful with it, because like the gentleman explained to me was, because I registered for it after I found out about it, any event that your bill runs extremely high in the summer and you go any overage for that month, remember at the end of your fiscal year for when you started that program, one or two things can happen. You're either going to get a refund or you're going to have overage that you have to close out that amount at the end of that year that, you know, for your annual year. I think I said fiscal, that wasn't correct. That annual year for when you started. So it is definitely based upon, you have to be conscious of how you put that air conditioner up and down and so on and so forth, because that's not saying to you because you're paying 100 and whatever it is per month, every month, that, you know, there could be some overages that you're not conscious of. So please be mindful to proceed with that program and be conscious of, you know, how you controlling that air conditioner, because in the summer that air will eat you alive.
Right. And then also to another point to make is if even before you do that, you might want them to do an energy audit on your house, and that's when they come around and they check to see if anything is leaking, the windows are sealed up, so that you're using your air effectively. And also to just remember there are things that don't have to be that high. For example, my father taught me to always turn the water heater down, especially since it's just me. Now for others, I don't know how burning hot you want your water, but if you turn that, it's amazing how quick that bill come down when you could turn your water heater down just a few degrees, because you don't need the water that's scalding hot, especially in the summertime. You cut that thing down to cool, and it's amazing how that cuts down. So just think about those little things like that. It's always important to do the best you can, especially in this hard time now with the economy. You want to try as many money saving things as you can possibly come up with, and you ain't got to run. Well, I don't know, for us, I don't think I wash clothes in about a month because I don't go nowhere.
Janice Johnson says, he asks, will they put out a summer education list for each grade for continued education? Funny you asked that, Janice. It's already out there on the district's website, and that's what that's what my key concern was. The district is putting information out there on the website, and yes, we are making the assumption that everybody goes to the website and look. But just like with anything else that needs to be done based on this level of urgency, we have to do a little bit more marketing, and probably
Right.
for, with the peach jar and all the other notices that come from the school, the phone calls, the text messages, that information needs to be coming out heavily. So again, parents don't reach 2 weeks from now or 10 days from now and say, what next? Because all don't know. So we'll post that information for you, Janice, if you haven't seen it. But yes, there's a full plan out there, and again, it excludes the 5th grade student body. And I just want to know what supports they're going to have for them, like realistically, what support.
What do you think in an ideal world, right? What would you think would be what the school system needs to start getting ready for next year? What kind of platform should they have? What things should be already in place when we kick off again for the next year?
Well, I know that Superintendent Addison Davis has started to roll out his in-depth with Davis, and that is a definitely good start to being transparent with what's going on currently in the district. The first one that he did was on mental health. We all know that mental health is being put out there like everybody's doing well, and all the I even heard one of the school board members say that there are a plethora of resources that are addressing the many mental health resources that are going on for our children and their families in Hillsborough County Public Schools. And I had to kind of pause and say, well, how would they know what's out there?
Right. Is this a cricket?
Because yeah. So if you don't know how to, if you know how to navigate to go find the information, great. But again, the assumption is always made that if a person, I'm so tired of saying the same thing over and over. It's like, help these people, help them. They don't know. There's just some people that don't know. They don't. And the plethora of resources, I would just like to know, what are they? What are they?
Right. And to me, it seems like one of the things is that every single school should have a parent liaison, because you have to have somebody that should be able to talk to parents to help them navigate through all that stuff. It shouldn't be just a pick and choose situation, but every school needs to have somebody like that, because a person who knows how to read through all the documentation, all the crap, and then break it down in simple terms that parents can understand. But go ahead, jump in.
So there are some schools with designated parent liaisons, but come to find out, many of them are serving in roles as administrative support. That's not what parent liaisons are designed to do.
That's not what
the job description is. But that's the support. That's the role that they serve as administrative supports. So then what falls to the wayside? The parent and the child. Their needs are not being met. Oh, and that would be at the achievement skills, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Right. I was going to wait for the extra part to come on in, but So now, oh wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, she did say that. Okay, I understand. But so going back to this, here's my point here, where I had it written down and then I just lost it. Hold on, where it go? Okay, now there there was the issue over there with well, let's just talk about property ownership. Why is it important for us to have property ownership? Why? The reason being, you cannot be easily moved if you own a piece of property. If you have property, you can, it's a generational wealth that you can pass on to somebody else. Property also is collateral. If you just so happen to be like, look, we're in desperate time, we got to take out a loan, that's collateral. But understand that the property owner is the one who has the rights. So that's why when people complain about, I got to move, I got to get kicked out, I got to do this, but you're not the property owner. So you really don't have much say. Like, for example, I'm a landlord. And if I decide tomorrow I got an offer because I got a piece of property in Ybor City, and if somebody make me an offer I can't refuse, hey, I would tell the tenant, like, look here, player, you could stay, but guess what? You got a new landlord to report to. I ain't saying about me. I got my check. I'm gone. Okay. So we need to be conscious as a people. And we need to realize that, you know, if you're renting something, it is not yours. Yeah, you're not going to stay there for 30,000 years and think that you're never going to move. It is the right of the property owner to make decisions that's beneficial for them. Let me tell you what a landlord does. The landlord objective is to make money. A landlord don't want to bleed cash. A landlord want to make money. I want a profit every month when I collect that check. Something's supposed to be going to pay the mortgage company and something going in my pocket, or going towards the property taxes, or going towards repair of the home or whatever like that. Okay. Oh, sorry. No. So I just need people to totally understand that point when we're fighting over a system. Like, for example, look at what happened in Central Park. Okay, those people knew like 2 years, almost 2 years in advance. Time to go. West Tampa, they knew about a year in advance. Time to go. So let's just, you're on mute. You're on mute. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Robles Park is right now, there a lot of the families are in that same position.
Correct.
Like, you know, the cemetery cemetery conversations that have went dormant because it's not popular anymore.
Right.
What a black men at? What a community leaders at?
Correct.
I'm just, you know, I'm all over the place.
No, you don't have to be all over the place. You just, you know, listen, it's like this. You know, you never, ever, you know, okay, here's a perfect analogy. I have a family member that just love positive news. They don't want to hear about it, anything if it's negative. That's how it seems, how a lot of situations are here in the Tampa Bay area. If it's not, so if it's something I don't want to hear about, I don't want to hear about it. If it's positive, I'm going to toot the horn all day long. But guess what? You can't fix a problem if you don't discuss a problem. Let me sip. You got to acknowledge the problem exists in the first place. That's first of all.
Wait, and then when you acknowledge that the problem exists and go back into your own world, because it's not your problem, you're part of the problem.
Oh, you done said a mouthful right there. You said a whole. You said a whole. My father told me when we were little children, he said, listen, you have got to contribute to the community that you live in. Even if you move away from your community, you better leave a mark somewhere. If all you do is put money into it, or you speak on it, or you help build whatever, you cannot live in a community or leave the community. Because look, I live here in the United States, but my heart is back home. And whatever issues that's going on down there, I'm going to have a voice of an opinion down there too. Because guess what? That's part of where I'm from. So because I'm part of where I'm from, what?
Or don't get in your feelings when someone that comes in the community see that Correct. There is a problem and a lot of inequities happening don't become defensive when they identify that there's problems. Bring the
Right.
facts and the receipts to identify that there's problem, along with possible solutions. And then you want to start claiming you don't own Tampa. Nobody in Tampa own Tampa. Not even the mayor. We all own Tampa.
You know,
And either if you're not from Tampa, if you can help Tampa, if you can surely help our education system, we're all a part of the solution.
correct. Oh, you know
Period.
what? How about y'all welcome people from who are not from Tampa in Tampa, just like y'all welcome homeboy that came to the Bucks. Y'all hated him when he was playing with. Now all of a sudden he your best friend. Why don't you treat him like that? Why don't you treat him like that? Treat him just like that.
Well, we're willing to welcome to any table that he's willing to come sit at.
Yes.
But individuals that's addressing the problem, the inequities, the disparities in education of children. These children deserve the best.
Right.
They gotta obtain their future some type of way. And if we keep alleviating for what the problems are that are impacting them, we are setting them up for failure. Like I said, back to the avatars. Why? Until collectively, the people that are of adult status, that are taxpayers and understand all that's going on, have something to say about what's going on, we're going to continue being in the situation that we're in. This didn't start yesterday. This didn't start 5 years ago. This didn't start 10 years ago. This didn't start 20 years ago. And there were people of color, because we want to say that we want to save certain seats for people of color. Maybe it's time to change that, because
correct. But let me here's what I want to close with, because this is my look. Another pearl of wisdom I got from Daddy. You should never be afraid of new people coming to the table. You know why? Because they bring in new insight. They also they could be bringing a whole bunch of new ideas to help you. But everybody that's coming into the table ain't coming there to destroy your position. It could possibly be that they're bringing an insight that helping you see the bigger picture. Okay, if I've been sitting stagnant for a while, and I'm stuck in my
what's
thought
a while?
process.
I need you to understand what's a while. What's a while? What's that? Because some people get confused about what a while is.
Several decades. If I'm sitting there, it's in my mind. Several decades of stagnance. I'm sitting there like, And then all of a sudden,
that would mean you was in your 40s and your 30s then, before you in your 70s now.
Right. And a brand new fresh face done came in with some innovation, some ingenuity, a clear set of eyes to start looking at things differently. Hey, maybe I'll start to, hey, that might be a person I could talk to, because guess what? They know this generation.
Pass the baton. That's the problem. They don't want to pass the baton. Pass it. We're in a race called life. We're not going to be here forever. If we don't educate and empower these children now, there's going to be no one to pass the baton to. And then we think about all the issues that we're currently having as a race.
It's going to be 10 times worse. 10 times worse. You know what my daddy also said? The only constant in life is change. That's the only thing.
Oh, and there's another one. The other constant in life is you're born to die.
I don't think I got anything else after that.
Last things, and then we're gonna wrap on up. Diana Williamson says, but Central Park is still sitting half empty years later. Yes, millions of dollars wasted.
Correct.
They were willing to take that risk. They were willing to take that risk as long as the imagery fit their plan, their vision.
Color ain't gonna be up in there. That's right.
Because it was too close to downtown. But anyway, yeah. Janice says, why it sounds like you're talking about a specific organization in Tampa. Honey, let me be clear. It's not a specific organization in Tampa. For some reason or another, it seems to be the majority of the organizations in Tampa have taken that stance that we're not vocal enough And that goes to sororities, fraternities, professional
Yes.
organizations, whether they've been men or women, for individuals that sit in leadership roles, that decide to sit on boards of organizations that address the many disparities that's happening with education of children of color. Look, I could go on and on. So there's no specific one. Now, if we had specific ones that were bringing voice to all of this that we're speaking of, it wouldn't be that big of an issue right now.
Right.
In my simple, progressing, teaching, disgruntled, opinion.
Right. Right.
That's our time.
Exactly. Anything else? Well, that's it, right? We just gonna wrap it up and let y'all think about it. I just like to say, let's just go ahead and marinate on what we're saying. You can replay it back and send it to your friends and whatnot. I'm quite sure I'm gonna get me that look on Monday. But that's all. It's all good. Y'all have
let's remind the people, because sometimes some get confused.
Right.
We live, eat, and breathe education. We both have mentorship groups. We both come out the pockets to do whatever it is for the kids. Do we look for any type of praise for it? No. But I think people forget that part, that we go above and beyond. We're speaking voice to what we see as a problem. We've been speaking voice to what we see as a problem, but we don't have enough people. Oh, and that even goes for our organizations that's in the district, PTSA, our different SAC committees, our parental committees that exist. Even them, there's not enough voice to rally around what's happening, to make and force change to come about. Because again, it's about all children, all children, all children, all children. We're designed to teach all children, but there is a population of kids that's just not moving in the direction as quickly. No, let me correct that. I won't care about the quickness. In alignment with their
fidelity, with the same fidelity.
Yes, as their peers. And so with that being said, that's why we have these problems. But until we have enough people collectively that are on the same page and not worried about a freaking title and who gets to be at the forefront of bringing the information out first, we're getting nowhere. If you're in your 70s, 60s, and you've been in this doggone Hillsborough County, living in Tampa all this time, and you ain't bring voice to the people that was on the school board prior to now, shut up. Shut up.
Sit down.
Because you had all the time to talk about it then. Just join along with the people that are saying what they're saying that's going to move this in a different directions. I'm sorry, I need millennials on my team. I need them because I'm tired. And I don't want to do all the extra. I just want to be there to say what you need me to do. I don't mind being a servant. Servitude, that's I don't care about it. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to be a servant to these children. Everybody want to be a doggone, I want to be at the top, the president, the lead. Shut up.
And that's so sad, because understand something. Jesus was a servant. And he was a great leader. So let's just, that's all we need to know. The best leader was a servant. I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas.
April Carl from April's Beauty Bar. And we are
Diversity
and Equity
in Education. And we are hosted by the fabulous, phenomenal, fantastical legs, Bianca Goolsby of Teacher for the Culture. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
And don't get mad at us. Get mad at yourself for not saying something. Talk to you later.
Get mad at the system.